Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
Hello, America. Welcome to the program. I am Rick Robinson, one half of the crew here for the Jin and Rick Show. We're live right now on KLRNradio.com. And I do have my co-host with me this evening. We've been kind of cutting in and out on each other for the last few minutes, so I'm hoping everything's okay. The connection seems good on my end, but I think the cold weather is irritating my internet, and I know it's just as cold where she's at. So, good evening, Miss Jen. How are you?
Hi. The other thing that we've had is intermittent dogs and children running around like crazy on my end of things. So sorry about that. You'll just have to deal. I think it's all taken care of now, but you just never know when good old Pig might try to come in here and get on air.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I don't really... It's like I've told Dan before, because his dog used to make noise on Robinson and Wright all the time. I actually used to have a rescue dog that wouldn't be anywhere but my room, and my room used to be part of my studio back when we had that particular dog. We were afraid she would like completely freak out during the move, so we actually rehomed her, but she used to hang out at my feet while I was doing live broadcasts, and you could occasionally hear her tinkling as her... was when I was on a live broadcast, because she knew I wouldn't really try to do anything to her because I was busy talking.
Oh, man.
But, so, you know, used to background noises, no big deal there. So how was your New Year's? Anything interesting happen?
Well, we braved one of the first oncoming ice storms of the week to go see my brother's band play in Fort Worth. He was playing at a music venue in the Stockyards. So, and my husband and I have pretty much worked, like, except for a couple New Year's Eves, and that was because, you know, Ben was really young. One year he was like 6 months old, and then he was like, I guess I worked that next year, and then when he was 2, I didn't work again. He'd been sick. And so I've always worked New Year's Eve since I was like 18, being in event management, of course. But before that, it was bartending and waiting tables and whatever. So this is actually the first New Year's Eve that we have spent together doing something like normal adults. So we went to Fort Worth and had a good time out at my brother's show and with old friends that were all there, and got a hotel room about 6 minutes from the venue, and ate at Waffle House like college students at 2 a.m. and crashed, and our Uber driver didn't crash on the ice. So it was all in all, it was a win. It was a good New Year's Eve.
Awesome. So yeah, my New Year's Eve was a lot more tame. We actually had family and friends over to the house, rang in the new year with the grandkids and the nieces, and then I, the next day, watched my Sooners choke in double overtime. Made me really sad.
Yeah, you know where it really, 2 places it went wrong. The field goal at the close of the half, and that damn third quarter.
Well, what I don't understand is the squib kick, because if not for that stupid squib kick, then most likely we would have went into the half up by 3. So you take everything else that happened, well, with 3 points on top of what we already had. So you take everything else that happened throughout the rest of the game, and we still would have ended the game most likely up by 3. But somebody got greedy. I don't care what Lincoln Riley says. Somebody got greedy. They were trying to ram it down their throats with 15 seconds left to prove to them who the dominant team was, and they screwed the pooch. I mean, not to. Yeah. That's a little weird to say when we're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs, but you know. I think it might, I know, and I never understand squib kick. It might be the other way around because that time it looks like we got screwed by the pooch. Just saying.
Yep. Anyways, that was a rough game. Some of my Sooner family was over for it. We watched it at my mom's house. So, that was.
Dude, I was
started out. It looked like at the beginning it was like, man, this offense can't be stopped. They're just going to roll them over, and then, it can just always switch in a minute.
And then the third quarter happened, and our defense completely went to sleep, and so did our offense. Fun times.
Yep.
But that third quarter was nuts, man. And I'm just thinking the whole time through the third quarter, I'm like, if we hadn't done that stupid squib kick right before halftime and given them momentum going into the locker room, this would have probably... worst came to worst at that point. Everything else remaining equal, we would have won the game by 3 points if not for that dumbass play. And I don't care what anybody says, somebody got greedy. They thought they were going to be able to recover it and march it into the end zone with 15 seconds left and put another 7 on the board. You can't, because when Lincoln Riley they asked him about it later, and he said our plan was to make sure that they didn't get a chance to return it. Bullshit, because pardon me, but yeah, that's how mad I was. Because at that point, if you were going to do it that way, then you would have kicked it out of the end zone and had them take it at the 25 or the 30, whichever one it is for college ball, with 15 seconds left. So you can't tell me that was the plan. The plan was you guys thought you were going to get cocky and be able to pull off an onside kick because everything else you had tried had worked up until then, and you got too big for your britches. And that's what cost us the game.
Right. Yep, it was definitely a little class of.
Uh-oh, I think I lost Jen. Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Yay!
Okay. I was like, it's dead, I think. What is happening?
Yeah, you were saying it was a case of, and then I lost you.
Yeah, I was just getting a little too cocky, getting a little too comfortable with where they were, and then after that they started kind of doing that thing where they started playing not to lose and playing a little bit scared, and Baker just looked completely out of his element there for a good portion of that third quarter, and so then that never helps because if you don't have him manhandling the leadership on that team, then you really you really see how it starts to go downhill fast. So I just think it got a little too out of hand, and then karma kind of comes back a little bit, and then it was like scrambling, just trying to play enough not to lose. And we've all watched those teams that do that, and sometimes it ends up okay, but when you're playing not to lose and you're playing too conservatively or not, you're not yourself, and the team's not their self. And Oklahoma wasn't playing like the Sooners normally do in that time period when they were doing it. And then they got back into the groove and started playing to win again, and it was just too late. There's just only so many opportunities in OT to get the ball to actually win. So it stinks.
Well, I mean, it's
for you.
Yeah, shut up.
I mean, my team won a bowl game and whatever. Like, we've sucked so bad. It's just, and even that bowl win didn't feel like a real win. There was so many problems with that stupid game. So I don't. There's nothing for me in any of it.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing was, on top of everything else, when the field goal kick got blocked, and I knew that was going to take a lot of wind out of their sails, but I didn't expect them to roll over and just play dead on the very next play. I'm just like,
not.
Really? You guys could have done something to try to at least hold them for a couple of plays. I mean, you only had to get them through 4 downs and then maybe, knock them back far enough where they can't kick a field goal. Do something. But, just to be like, it's over. Just lay down. I'm like, really?
Right.
So the only thing I know now is I can't stand Bama, so I'm hoping the Bulldogs win a title. Even though it's hard for me to say that because they beat us, I hate Bama. So
yeah.
My hate for Bama outweighs my sore feelings from losing to the Bulldogs, especially since I was talking so much trash to Stacy early in the game because we were doing so well. I was like putting out tweets calling Lincoln Riley the dog whisperer, DAWG, you know, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have celebrated quite so early. But it was fun while it lasted till she started telling me how, because I was giving her crap about the dogs were going to get spayed. Been doing that for like weeks because I really expected us to really show up and just manhandle them because that's usually what we do when people underestimate us. And this time I just didn't do it. And I'm just...
Well, and it looked like it was going to be that way, but, oh well, it didn't quite follow through.
It is what it is, and people don't tune into the show to hear me whine about the Sooners, so let's move on. Oh, anyway, Ron's in the chat going, hey, I told you that you were going to lose. He hadn't actually said that yet, but I know he's thinking it because he said that to me privately. All right, anyway, so lots of other interesting things going on in the news. The Democrats are still having meltdowns, which are not really surprising anymore, which I kind of thought maybe 2018 would be their year to start getting their act back together again. Looks like it's probably not going to be. And, of course, Donald Trump is back to taking credit for everything under the sun, whether he should or not.
Naturally.
It's one of those things where I really wish the man would just stay off of Twitter, because every time he has a good couple of weeks, I'm like, hey, he's finally figuring it out. He's not acting like an ass. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yes. Have you seen the latest tweet?
Probably not, because I've kind of been avoiding it today because we were slammed at work.
Okay. Let me pull it up here real quick. It's a doozy. It's quite the doozy here. So, well, it's not even the latest one because there's a couple others, but this one. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works. Yeah. Then right after that, he tweeted, I will be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year on Monday at 5 o'clock. Subjects will cover dishonesty and bad reporting in various categories from the fake news media. Stay tuned. Oh
boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So there were a lot of really disgusting memes of Trump and Kim Jong-un floating around. Various of them with their heads put on men, you know, that are like bare-chested. They appear to be naked, and instead of their ding-dongs, it's a miniature rocket, you know, or a nuclear missile in place of that, and they're having a contest. I've seen a lot. I've had to be like, I can't even go on my news feed right now because there's so many of those kinds of things floating around, and they're just disgusting, and I don't want to see it. But yeah, I mean, this is who has that contest, and that's happening on Twitter.
Fun times. Yeah, I just happened to pull it up, and one of the first news stories is, surprise, surprise, Trump didn't give up old habits for Twitter for 2018. I'm like, crap.
Like I ever expected him to.
I didn't really either. I mean, you know, I'm not trying. I mean, I don't expect the unreasonable, but I really, after the last few weeks that he'd had, I kind of thought maybe one of his advisors was finally starting to get through to him. I guess I can give up on that pipe dream ever. Ever. Probably.
Yeah.
But now here's one of the things that annoys me about what's going on in the news, because, you know, now that the tax plan's passed, then now all of a sudden DACA is back in the news. The interesting thing is, you know, everybody's blaming Donald Trump for the whole fact that DACA hasn't been reformed, but Donald Trump was one of the first ones that said he actually wanted to do something to reform it, but the Democrats won't work with him. So why is it that if he's already told them, I want to try to do something about this, and they've told him that this is something that's important to them, why is it that they won't come to the table with him and at least see what it is that he's offering? Because he's point blank told them. I mean, he's tried to invite Pelosi and Schumer to the White House more than once, and they keep turning him down. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that he's doing that because I don't think he's going to get what he wants out of it. But also at the same time, I can't fault him for trying to work with the other side, because that's what we keep saying when we elect people, that's what we want them to do, is actually work together with both parties and try to fix things that are broken in this country. Donald Trump actually seems to, at least for the moment, be making an effort to do those. And it do those things, especially when it comes to this whole DACA situation. And it just seems like the Democrats don't want to do anything but play politics with it, and he's the one getting the short end of the stick. And I don't understand that, because if he was half the statesman that he likes to pretend that of everybody, and I would go to the media and be like, look, this is the number of times that I have invited Democrats to the White House to discuss the DACA situation. This is the number of times that they have shown up. This is the number of times that I've tried to speak to Republicans about the DACA situation. This is the number of times that they have shown up. If this is something that everybody tells me they want fixed, then I'm the one with the open door policy. Why are they not coming to me? Seems like this would be an easy win for him.
Yeah, you would think, except for, I do just think that whether it's Trump or anybody else, the same old with the Democratic politicians. Okay, they say that they want compromise. They say that they want to work with us on stuff. They say, or just in general, like, the right, and they say, if a Republican senator would, and they always say these things. Us, right? So the whole time while Obama's in power, it's like they won't work with him. They won't work with us. Oh, we totally would, but they won't budge. What? Bad guys. Oh, they're so, stringent, and they won't let go. So they push that whole thing, and the media eats it up. But what it really is they want you to compromise with them when they have the power. When they don't have the power, they don't want to compromise with you. So they're much more of like, do as I say, not as I do. So I don't think it really matters. Like, if Nancy Pelosi's party is not in charge, then she doesn't really care about having to bend down and maybe make some agreements and come to some political compromises. She would rather people just vote her party into office so that she can demand the Republicans come to the table for her. And that doesn't even mean meet halfway. It just means, acquiesce to me. And so that's kind of, I think there's a little bit of temper tantrums going on here. And there's been a couple other areas where, they could have gotten a little bit more bipartisan support, and they refused to come to the table because they would rather act like temperamental children.
Exactly, and that's the thing where if it were me, and if I were the president, that would be the thing that I would keep bringing back right up in front of the American people. Because, I'm going to be completely honest. As far as I'm concerned, DACA is not Donald Trump's problem to fix. DACA was something that President Obama did with his pen and his phone that wasn't constitutional in the first place. And the easiest way to fix DACA to begin with is to actually start looking at overhauling our immigration system in the first place. Because with the way things work now, there isn't any way that we shouldn't be able to streamline this process, make it easier and also more effective for the people that want to come here legally, and tougher for the people that are trying to come here illegally. With the technology that we have in place today and the things that we can use, there's no reason we can't make this work for everybody. But to keep putting DACA right back at Donald Trump's feet, I have a problem with that, because Donald Trump didn't sign this thing with his pen. He wasn't the one promising to fix things with a pen and a phone. DACA was a mess from the word go. When Saturday Night Live makes fun of a sitting Democratic president for an overreach the magnitude of DACA, then you know that he stepped in it. Period. End of sentence.
Absolutely. And I think another good point to drive home is that if these politicians really cared about these things as much as they claim they do, then they would be taking a little bit of whatever they could get from the Republicans in order to kind of come to a middle ground on things like this. But we've seen it time and time again. The tax bill, they go, oh, no tax cuts because it's only going to benefit the rich. Oh, well, it's going to benefit the middle class and low income this much. Well, okay, then they didn't do enough, so they need to make it more. Anything they can to fight whatever it is they're doing and to pen them down as the bad guys. So, it's about politics. It's about winning. It's not about these heart-wrenching stories with their arm around a brown person trying to pretend like that is the only thing they care about. And, oh, she and her family just deserve a chance. I mean, they're so full of it. It's obvious in everything they do that there's so few of them that I think really care and really believe. And I think that there are some good people out there that have true interests of politicians, they would come to the table.
Yeah, I mean that's completely true. I mean they would come to the table if there was any truth to what they were saying. But I mean that again is part of what I'm talking about. Donald Trump is not doing a good job putting this back at the feet of the people that are blaming him. Because if I were him, the first thing I would do is basically say, look, I didn't sign this thing. I don't have any interest in really cleaning it up. I want to make it go away, and I want to fix things instead of just continuing to leave things more broken. But again, whether I like it or not, we've elected someone who is not a politician, who is not honestly very eloquent at all. I mean, that's one of my biggest issues with him, because for somebody that keeps talking about how large of an IQ he has, he tends to talk like a fifth grader.
Yeah, it is hard to, I don't know, kind of respect because of the language he uses and how he conducts himself in tweets and whatever. But the Democrats, they own all of this. And it seems more about being on some sort of moral high horse and getting to wag their fingers down and be like, you don't care about the poor people. You don't care about immigrant children. You don't care about the disabled. You don't care about this and that. And they just want to be able to sit there and say how much they do care and then point to all of their progressive causes as evidence of how they care. And then when it comes down to it, I mean, they don't really put their money where their mouth is. So, meh. It wouldn't matter if it was Trump or if it was another Ronald Reagan, who was the most esteemed and just polished politician ever. Not that Ronald was. I just mean if we had someone with his kind of character and then was also such a esteemed and polished politician that never stepped out of line and always did everything well and gentlemanly and was so, tactful and well spoken, they would still be acting like this.
Yeah, no, I mean they most definitely would. So. Okay, so I think we've, sorry, I kind of lost track of time because I was messing with something else. I think we have just about come up to the bottom of the hour. So we should probably go ahead and get the break out of the way as soon as I get it queued up here. Any last words before we go pay some bills?
Not really. I want to talk about good old Cal. Speaking of immigrants.
Okay, sorry, you kind of cut up there on that last bit. You want to talk about what when we come back?
I said speaking of immigrants, I wanted to talk about good old California and what their latest move has been in regards to sanctuary status.
Oh, yay, fun times. I'm sure it'll be something that'll make me want to scream and yell. But we will talk about it when we come back. This is Jen and Rick, back in about 3. Maybe.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Welcome back, folks. Sorry about that. I was trying to nail down some gremlins while we were on commercial and didn't realize we had run out of commercials. I hope you guys weren't listening to too much dead air, but I hope everybody's having a great second day of the new year. First day of the new year didn't start out too well for me. Damn you, Sooners. But it can only get better from here because, it can't get much worse. All right, so anyway, we have been kind of all over the place today, mainly talking about, the fact that our politicians are kind of continuing to do more of the same so far. So 2018 doesn't seem like it's going to be much different than 2017 or, for that matter, 2016 before it. So I don't know. I guess, my question is, what can we do to cope with the craziness? Because it just seems like it's not going to go away anymore.
I don't know. Drink more.
That's always everybody's answer. Drink more. But it works, I guess.
I'm like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's getting crazier. And that's what I was saying about this California thing. So one thing that they've done today is went into effect January 1st, 2018, was the entire state will now ignore U.S. immigration law. And not only that, but they have codified it in SB 54. So it forbids law enforcement from asking anyone's immigration status, holding them for immigrations and customs enforcement agents, unless they're actually convicted of a crime. Not accused of a crime, not detained for a crime, convicted of a crime. So they can't, and landlords can't report renters who are here illegally, if they can't provide them with the proper documentation. I don't know about pretty much anywhere here, even in Sanctuary City, Austin, Texas. That's still not the case. I mean, you have to provide, someone has to sign for you that has a valid social and, or, obviously if there was some sort of legal documentation of your immigration or visa status, of course that would hold through for you. You have to provide history of employment. You have to provide bank statements. You have to provide driver's licenses. You have to provide, just anything that you have to do that normal people are used to having to do for obtaining any kind of property or to rent something or whatever else. And they think that this is not necessary, number one, and then number two, that those landlords are not even legally allowed to report that they have illegal immigrants that are trying to obtain a dwelling.
Uh-oh, I think I've lost you again.
Uh-oh. Can you
hear
me?
There you are. Ha-ha.
Okay.
You're back.
So anyways, it's just really kind of crazy to tell these landlords that have private property that they're renting to people that if they discover or someone tries to rent that's illegal, or if they discover that someone's illegal, they can't. They are going to break the law if they report them to the federal authorities in the eyes of California.
Yeah, I don't really quite understand how that is going to work. But, at this point, as far as I'm concerned, California needs to secede, or just, even better. You don't even necessarily need to secede. Just be part of Mexico like you want.
Well, I think so Patriot Musket, one of our good friends on Twitter, he wrote a piece for Misfits today, and it's called California, America's New Soft Underbelly. And I encourage anyone to go check that out on misfitspolitics.com, because one of the things he hits on is he's saying, normally, I just look at this stuff as a Federalist. I'm like, okay, you have higher taxes. You want men in the ladies' room. You want all this other stuff, whatever. It's your state to ruin, and I'm going to laugh as I watch it burn. But he's saying that with this kind of thing, this is something everyone should take notice of. They made the entire state a sanctuary state, put it into law, and basically gave a big, huge middle finger to the federal government over one of the matters that the federal government is specifically given.
I heard you. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Sounded like you were getting flustered, like you didn't think you were going out again, but I heard you.
No, I keep hearing random music. This is so weird. Random music, and I don't have anything open. This is so strange. Random clips of music for a second or not. Anyways, so, but what he's saying is that, this is now an entire state, one of the biggest states, saying to the federal government that one of the powers that the Constitution explicitly grants you as the federal government, we will not recognize or comply with, and go F yourself. I mean, and that he's right. That's what they're doing. And it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed to stand. And it's you're just announcing to everyone that anyone can come there and they'll be protected. And it doesn't matter about our laws. It doesn't matter about the United States of America and what we think as a country and what our federal government has been allowed to enforce and was granted the power to enforce by the Constitution of the United States. So it's really just gotten to a point where that surely there will be others that follow. And then where do we go? I mean, do we allow this to happen? And we had this whole discussion with several people on Twitter, is that, none of us are into heavy-handed, or immigration, and we're talking about the security of our nation, and also the financial health of our nation. And this is something that is explicitly stated in the Constitution as within the powers of the federal government, and to blatantly ignore that and to put it into law, which shouldn't even be allowed at all. This is one of those cases where the federal government needs to bring down the hammer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. And, the funny thing is you hear the leftists talking about, well, Arizona did it with immigration and they didn't. But the thing about that is, at that point, they were actually trying to enforce immigration laws that exist at the federal level. The states can't decide their own immigration policies. That's not how it works. That is a power expressly given to Congress. They're the ones that dictate how people come into the country and what terms they should have to follow, etc. So the fact that we now have a complete state that's like, screw it, we're just going to be sanctuary state for everybody. I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, they should have all of their federal funding cut back until they fall into line. They don't like it, then they can just go without our money. That means that we don't subsidize their high taxes anymore, because that's one of the biggest fits that everybody threw about these tax changes was, what do you mean I'm not going to get to write off my state sales and my state tax anymore? Do you have any idea how much money my state charges me? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. That's why I don't live there.
Yeah, that's why I don't agree with it.
So don't expect me, because, that's the thing that gets thrown up in my face all the time is, how it's the red states that take all the money from the blue states. That's crap. And these changes that Donald Trump proposed that prove exactly where the tax burden comes from, it's not the way they want you to think it is, because we're subsidizing these crazy-ass taxes from California, New York, and everywhere else with high taxes. Because some of that money that the federal government gives them back is coming out of your and my pocket.
Right. Yeah. So when you're like, oh, no, but y'all take all of this for this. Yeah, but we give you back so much too. And, not to mention that quite a few states operate at almost even keel as far as all of that goes, being a state that often is more of a donor state. It varies from year to year, and some years Texas is considered a donor state, and sometimes we miss it by a couple $100. Like, seriously, that's how close it gets. But most of the states that are quote unquote donor states are red states, and that's just the way it is. But it doesn't really matter. The red versus blue, whatever. The problem is that governments have gotten too bloated, whether it's local, state, or federal. And if you're living in a state that is taxing you outrageous amounts, then you need to either become very active in your own local politics and, hold some people's feet to the fire over this and create awareness about it, or move somewhere that respects your right to keep your money more.
I vote stay active in your own state, because here's what I don't like about, because, we always talk about how great it is to live in a country where you can vote with your feet. But the problem is we have all these people that vote with their feet because they don't like taxes in state A. So then they move to state B and then start complaining about all the things that state B doesn't have. And then they start lobbying to raise more taxes so that state B can have all the things that state A used to have, while they were complaining about all the taxes that state A used to charge them to give them the things that state B doesn't have.
It's very true.
Sorry.
It's very true. This is why you will see Texans being like, don't California my taxes, we're full, don't move here. And it's really speaking to that kind of mentality of like, I'm going to come and I'm going to go, oh, it's so great. Property tax, this, that, da, da, da. No state income tax. Okay, there's a sales tax, but you control what you buy. So, okay, I can deal with that. And there's this and there's that, and this isn't regulated and this is, and people get, all high on that. And then they come and they're like, well, we really should have free community college. Well, we really should have this and this and that. And it's like, why do you think your bills got so high where you came from? It's because you voted for all that crap. And now you want to do that here. And that's the thing about when everyone talks about super liberal, blah, blah, blah. I will tell you that there's a distinct difference between the Austin liberals of like natively, the native Austin liberals that kind of were born out of the 60s and 70s tend to be more, they tend to be more like free-loving hippies than they are hard-nosed progressive liberals going nutso over every political topic. They tend to be environmental. They love the Barton Springs, and they want to keep the green salamander, and they are cool if we have to bring our own bags to the store. But mostly they want everyone to get along, and they're pretty chill, and they just want to be able to, like, smoke a joint and hang out at the springs and not be all uppity in everyone's business. The kinds of liberals that are moving into Austin because they've heard all of this about how Austin's so liberal, Austin's so great, it's so progressive, blah, 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 are more lunatic leftists. And it's a completely different brand of liberal. The native Austin liberals are still Texans. Okay? They're still Texans. And there are still a lot of things that they have more in common with conservative Texans than they will ever have in common with liberals from anywhere else, pretty much. So, but that's what you're seeing in all sorts of pockets of like red states, particularly in the South, that are having little booming areas that are becoming, kind of trendy to live in. And also, oh, by the way, like the bills aren't so bad there because the states, don't bend us over and take all our money every year. So these little places are starting to build up and become more popular, and they make all these lists of like the great place for singles to live in, the greatest place to raise a family. And so many of them are in red states and in the South in particular. And you're like, don't come in here and change my local scene and my local government. We're happy to have you, and we're happy to have the diversity, but don't defend all of the things that led you to leave your state in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You know what? I'm fine with voting for your feet. But if you, say for the sake of argument, a bunch of people from Oklahoma suddenly decided they wanted to move to California to try to make California a more free state. You know what? As long as you're going with the intent to bring more freedom, then I don't necessarily mind if you vote with your feet. But if your socialist butt is moving from California to Oklahoma to make Oklahoma more like California, keep your ass where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and not only that, I think some of the people that I've talked to, they don't even realize it. They will be like, oh, it's so great because, oh my gosh, and my tax return, it was so much easier to file. I didn't realize when I moved here that Texas didn't have a state income tax. That is fantastic. I thought I was going to owe this much. I've worked with a couple people like this. But then they're like, oh, I really wish that X, Y, and Z, and I wish this was paid for, and I wish that, we should really vote for this bond package, and you should really vote for that thing. And I'm going, hello, over here. Hello. Hi. Remember how excited you were at the end of the year when you saw your taxes add up? You went, oh my gosh, they take hardly anything, and the state doesn't take much, and this and that, and you were so excited about that. Well, the reason that happens is because we don't pay for all that BS that you just talked about that you hope we pay for. Oh. Seriously, a couple people in their 20s be like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And I'm like, the bills are so high because you keep adding on things that you think should be provided. Or the state keeps regulating things to a ridiculous level, which is part of what happens too. They just tack on higher and higher percentages of things. Oh, yeah, but still the children. It's always back to that. But the children, but I don't want anybody to die, but I think people should be educated. I'm like, oh my goodness. Go home then.
Well, that's all they've got though. Think about it. That's
because I'm like, I do too. I want them to be educated, and I don't want people to die, and I care about the children, but that doesn't mean that we as the taxpayers have to fund every little thing at your whim and will.
It doesn't?
It does not.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure that I read in the Constitution somewhere that as an American, all of my whims and wills should be provided for. Are you telling me?
You would think.
Are you telling me that's not in there?
You would think, with the way that everybody talks now, it's like we say we're the greatest country on earth, but we don't have da 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 da, and they have this laundry list, and it's like, oh, right, because that's what makes us the best country on earth. They have a fundamental misunderstanding of liberty. Well, and they do not understand that being forced to pay for all sorts of programs and for all sorts of free, quote unquote, free things means that you ain't free.
Well, are you sure? Because I thought the government giving you stuff was what made you free. I mean, that's what Bernie Sanders says. The more free stuff we have, the happier we're supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
Wasn't that pretty much his whole pitch for 2016?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, when you can just keep people under your thumb like that, well, the possibilities are pretty much endless for a suave politician, which he is not, but someone could be.
Yeah, he is most definitely not. Like, not at all. But, you know, the interesting thing, though, is I honestly want to give a quick shout-out and thank you to Hillary Clinton, because if she hadn't found a way to steal the nomination from him, with as fired up as all the millennials were about him, we probably would have had President Crazy Uncle Speedo. I'm just saying.
We might have, but at the same time, I can't tell you how many of those Bernie bros, how many of those Bernie crazy people that I knew in my daily life that just despised her so much that I think that whether he had a chance or not, there were so many of them that didn't go out to vote for her after she was the nominee that I think it made a lot of the difference in this election, because they were pissed off about him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get, and you know, not to go all the way back to 2016, 2017 again, but one of the funniest things for me was hearing all these people that complain about the Electoral College and then trying to explain to them that Democratic superdelegates are basically just like the Electoral College. And they don't get it.
Well, you know, I had a few of my friends that they were so irate about it all, and they always used the word stolen or corrupt or this or that. And I said, you know, I'm going to tell you all the same thing that I told friends of mine within the Republican Party. They're not, it's not a constitutional right here, y'all. This isn't, your primary is not protected by the Constitution. It is not a protected process. It is something the parties have put together for the people, and they do not have to abide by it. They also don't have to offer it again if they don't want to. This is not anything to do with our actual legal voting process. This is something that the parties put together. So, you know, jointly in some cases. And so it's, you know, it's their rules. They can do whatever they want. And it's the same thing for the RNC. If they had really wanted to, if enough people were pissed off about how the American Republicans had voted in their primaries, or some people blame a lot of crossover, and who knows, I don't know. But if they were truly thought that it was not the right representative for the Republican Party, they could have put in whoever they wanted. They did not have to honor what happened in the primaries. Now, they have their own little bylaws and stuff about it, but nothing that's legally binding is what I'm getting at. They have their own set of rules, and everyone, you know, vows to follow them, and they sign for them and all that kind of stuff, but nothing that would actually be legal in a court of law. So they could have done whatever they wanted. They could have put Mickey Mouse in as the nominee if they wanted to, even after all the primaries. And same thing with the DNC. So they're going to do their superdelegates however they want to, and they're going to have nominated whoever they want to, and cry about it. That's do whatever they want. It's a private organization.
Apparently my internet hates us today.
I know.
But the good news is we're just about out of time, so I guess we can pretty much stop trying to fight with the interwebs now. Why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the air trying to fight Skype and my internet to hang out with you?
Yeah, come find me on Twitter at jhomestead and check out misfitspolitics.com. If you go to the main page right now, you can see that article I was talking about that Patriot Musket wrote. And it's pretty great about the whole California sanctuary state situation that just was codified into law on January 1st. So go check it out.
So on the way out, I have a nameless shout out to the moron on Twitter today who tried to convince me that all money belongs to the state. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, at least not in America. Go to Venezuela, starve, you'll be fine. You can live on rainbows and unicorns. It'll all be good. It's okay. But on that note, folks, we are officially just about out of time. I am Rick Robinson. You can hang out with me on Twitter at Radio Host Rick. You can find me on Facebook by searching Rick Robinson. Just look for the picture of the guy that likes to pretend he's the Time Magazine Guy of the Year. It's a cartoon picture. I did it on purpose, not because I have a swelled head, but because there are like 8 million Rick Robinsons on Twitter, so at least that way mine stands out. Or not Twitter, Facebook. Can you tell I spend most of my time on Twitter? So yeah, probably a good idea just to hang out with me there. You can also, if you're old school, shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com. And on that note, folks, we are officially out for the night. We will be back with you next... actually, this is only Tuesday, huh? So we'll be back Thursday. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore, folks. Holidays have gotten me all verklempt. But we will be back Thursday, and I will be back for America Off the Rails starting tomorrow and resuming normal schedule now that all the holidays and the mess is over. Things are starting to return to normal. But I hope everybody enjoys your Tuesday. Thank God, at least it's not Monday. And next up is Hump Day, so... Stay focused. We'll get through it soon enough. See you guys tomorrow. Take care. God bless.